And welcome everybody to the Daily Spell, and where we go ahead and talk about anything and everything you can, and we talk across the web and internet and across the interwebs. Yes, I know. I sounded like a boomer there for a second. Ha ha ha. Probably pissed some people off when we say that. Um, so I'm in a little bit of a rambunctious mood tonight, but tonight our subject is connecting pagans. That's right, connecting pagans. And what do I mean by connecting pagans? And that means bringing two or more people together so that they make enough of a connection that has some meaning to them, some value. It could be nothing more. And I do this at festivals and sit around a festival fire and just say, hey, do you know so and so? And sit down and share a drink. That is a very simple, powerful connection that we can deal with. And what it is that our connections are mostly, hey, Reverend Michael, is mostly about our emotional life. In the pagan world, we care more about our emotional life, our relationship life, than anything else. If you ever look at our models, our systems, our places, we want to connect from a heart to heart place. Our first duty and goal is to do things in love and trust. And so we build these relationships. So when we talk about connecting pagans, the first thing that comes to most people's mind is that emotional connection, that, hi, Mark, marry me, that emotional conflict, and finding the ways to deal with it and finding the ways to soothe it and to heal it. And I often say that pagans uh, are a trauma treating machine. We shred through people's traumas constantly, bringing them to health and happiness. And we are very attractive to a lot of people who are doing so. I feel like that's a really important part of what we do, solve traumas. But connecting, we're also talking about now in the next step. Are we talking about how do we connect in these communities? How do we get there? How do we move ourselves into connecting with each other and where we are? Hey, Aaron. Where's the dog, sir? Is it, yeah, which would you prefer? So we're connecting with pagans. Now, there are people, the internet has opened up a wide ability to do so. There are groups between 10,000, 100, 500, 100,000, 150,000, 500,000. And there are now few people who have started with TikTok, Instagram. So, hey, Sador, and congratulations on your working towards your exemptions. Oh my gosh, at the state of Florida. We'll have to have a show on that. We're going to be talking about that very soon. Um, as soon as we can arrange that. Yes, people are working on that. So connecting pagans. There you go. And then, hey, David Moore. You saw David Moore last week, and with that, we need better connections. So the first step of making connections. So let me get back to our original premise, as I've distracted. Um, is that we are connect, and when pagans connect, the first place that they tend to connect to is each other, emotionally, heart to heart. We talk about chakra energy. We talk about letting each other flow. We talk about group flow. We have polyamory. Hey, Bradley. Oh, yeah, we have polyamory. We have all of these ways. And if you here it is. It is about making better connections. And a lot of the exercises that you see, the visualizations, the exercises, are to get through your trauma, your blockages, to make you express yourself even more fully, and everybody expresses themselves fully. So when we talk about pagan connections, this is the connections that people want at the heart of what we do. This is it. That's the emotion. Because it's such a great motion. And then their brains fill with all these good chemicals. Their bodies are safe. So they have this moment where they can just relax, be themselves. And that is at the core of it. That's why we go to festival. That's why we make the connections to go to festival. So we make connections in parts so we can go to festival. And when you get to festival, you make connections so you can make your life easier. That you can have friends, you can have fun, and you share the chores that are around there. Different people cook, different people clean, people can help you build your tents. If something's happening, you don't know how to build a tent, people come and help you. Connection to the heart, but it's also a physical connection in the sense of that you're now helping each other out. So that's why festivals are so important. So this idea of connection is deeply connecting pagans, and you connect, and then the person helps you out. Your steaks almost blow away. Everybody comes, grabs your tents, you put it down, you say, "Hey, thank you, everybody," and you make these connections. And throughout that weekend or week, you're making very personal, heart-to-heart connections. So what's made it before COVID, it was the number way you made these connections. Now on the internet, you made connections, and everybody remembers Witch Fox, and we're building our own type of new world out there. But Witch Fox was something because it was very centralized. It very had that classic feel of like a phone book. There are not people who don't know what a phone book is. Some people have never seen one. So let's be honest with that. But we used to connect through Circle. Circle had this great magazine that they passed out and that they sold. And everybody would send in and say, please list me for groups and things of that nature. So we've always wanted this connection. Now let me go ahead and connecting pagans. So Pagan World, my new startup here, is all about connecting pagans. And the way we're connecting pagans is through content, talk shows, business shows. We're trying to connect through the smart TV. We're out on a number of different Facebook channels. We're talking to you through the chat rooms. So we're having this sort of live. We're having other types of things. So we're trying to make a connection across the internet. Now, I just finished in a 22-year project, and it's just amazing that it is. 22 years ago, where basically I started building on Witch School. Now it's now on its own. It's in its own little baby. 22 years later, and it's all grown up, but it is gone all over the world. It was a way people connect, and through it, one of the traditions that benefited most was a Corellian tradition, which was able to make connections all over the world through these things. But people think what they were connecting was this intellectual mind, and it was. We were teaching lessons, we were talking through chat rooms, we were talking through emails, then we're talking through all sorts of manners of different systems. We're talking through YouTube, we're talking through Facebook, now we're talking through a social transmitter, and now AI is coming in. Oh my! I spent a lot of time in AI world, and we're going to have these sort of wonderful connections, ways to start making things happen. The other purpose for connection, and this is one I think that people don't talk about a lot, is for survival. So when you're part of, so you have your groups, and if they're part of larger groups, you can have survival. And what do I mean? And survival is when you need help at a moment, who can you have as your support? There's not a lot of support for long term help, but pagans are really good at short term help. Um, we're good at helping each other, support each other in the short term. And I don't think it's a matter if we don't want to help in the longer term. I don't think we have the resources yet. It takes a lot of resources to help over a long term period of time. That's why medical care is very expensive. There's a lot of other reasons, but it is very time consumptive at times. So we have to watch out for that. And the other thing is that we have these beautiful centers that we build in our community called stores. And sometimes they're stores, sometimes they're network. What there really are places to make contact. What did I say? We want to go back to the heart. We want to touch people. We want to meet people. We want to hand to hand. We want to share this experience of being pagans. And then they go to the stores. Well, now stores are all sorts of different ways, and to support themselves, they have to make revenue several different ways. And one way is online. So how do we connect pagans online? Well, you can go to pagan.world. I'm going to tell you right now. I heard something today. Go to Pagan World and check that out and just join. It's free. There is citizenships. There can be all sorts of little models, but it is the beginning of the hub of another network of pagans that we're trying to create. And a lot of people are already there. We're starting to see some activity there. We'll see more activity, energetic, and that's connecting pagans. And what do we want to do with connecting pagans at that Pagan World Hub? Let me go ahead and talk very specifically what I want to do. And this is something that I need. I've got some real experts in the system. I've got a council of experts being put together. I probably have a group of more than 50 people from board of directors on down who are beginning to work cohesively towards creating connections. And they have all sorts of connections. As you've seen, a lot of them are making shows. A lot of them are developing. Atlanta, I believe, is going to have a new show this week. Don Lewis is going to do a new show this week. Witch Rising was last week with Reverend Mary Hawker. I guess she's going to have a hard burner this weekend. We saw the International Cafe. So we have a lot of people making shows and content. And so that's a good news. They want us to share their world with you and you with us. So we're going to be building, and there's more of that. I've been talking. As soon as I get better organized, we got a pagan business show going to be coming on. I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to have, that's one of, for me, that's excitement. For me, that makes me feel much more like a station. And we have all of these systems coming on. And the thing that we're going to be doing most is with this pagan connection, we're going to use it to build longer term relationships with each other that can provide support. And that's going to be both difficult and easy. And through this site we're going to be building, it's at the pagan.world, and through these systems and through these networks, we're going to try to be getting it ahead of this next game. So we're going to be working on AI. We've been talking about it already. We're going to work on some of the AI systems. We're going to kind of make sure that this next transition of creator markets benefits our community. That's right. I want to get leverage so that it all benefits our community. And I'm a long-term builder, as everybody knows. I don't build for the short term. This is a long-term project. It's going to take us at least a year to put it all together comprehensively to make it look like something. And it's going to take a lot of different people and doing a lot of different work, and that sort of thing. And I got Chris Copeland to spell your own book. I'm just thinking of everybody's involved and like, how do I talk about that? That'll unfold because I got some really glorious people really helping. And in that process, it's all from connections. These are people I've connected with over the years that have had these relationships. So now what I'm going to offer now to you this last little piece. How can you make a connection? Do you need connections? What do you need connections for? Do you have resources you need? Every time you think about selling something, do you have things people to sell to? Do you have, if you want to get a hug from somebody, do you have anyone to give a hug to? Or if you want to go to an event, do you know how to have an event too? These are the questions we need to start answering better in our community. These are the questions we need to answer. How to, what else, what you're doing, these sort of things, and get the energy. And so that's one of the things I think we need to be getting connecting. Because ultimately, I think the final connection is the hug, the happiness, the joy we see in each other's presence. But in the process of that, we have all these other ways of making connections: music, classes, teachings, talk shows, just having fun, uh, coffee chats. Brenda does a coffee chat. Now she does it through a different medium, but it's a nice little coffee chat. People come in and out, show their faces on Sunday morning, and they hang out for a little while. Connections. So connecting pagans is the most important thing. And so, what do you want them for? What do you need connections? Well, I can tell you what the whole community needs is in case anything happens in the community, we need to get information out from one end to the other. We need to make sure that we're at least, even if we don't agree theology, even if we don't even see ourselves as anything but a community, but if we see ourselves as anything but a macro entity that is trying to protect everyone's rights inside underneath that, because human rights and defending human rights is extremely important. Um, extremely important is essential. And so that's one of the things you can understand. So the more connections you have. And so one of the things we're going to do, and one of the things we're doing right now, is we're making these connections with each other. And so how do we do that better? That's what I'm trying to explore. And that's what I'm going to spend my time and energy doing, is creating better connections for everybody, for people who want to join us as citizens, for people who are vendors, who are sponsors. We have a lot of new ones coming on board. I'm so excited. We'll be talking with them for new shows, new people, new relationships, the rekindling of old relationships. I'm having a really good time in my life right now. In so many ways, I am. And so this is going to be our project. So connecting pagans is really about finding a way to talk with them heart to heart. And that's what we do best. And then, of course, we talk with our minds. Oh my God, we're telepathic in that. And that comes from a strong heart connection, a good, strong emotional connection. And that's what we're looking for. More important to connect pagans is how to do so, and connect them to the source materials that they want, the music, the text, the writings, the books, the people, the very heart of what we do, and make that a part of our lives that improves our lives, makes them much better, makes it easier and better to be this. And in the process, very quietly, we see it transform. And that today is my kind of rant. So it's a soft rant today about what I mean when we're talking about connecting pagans. And then the back end of that, I'll talk about another time, which is connecting pagans too. And that's the real magic. When we get pagans connecting together, we get all this wonderful energy. We get all this heart energy. We get all this mental energy. Yes, we can. Yeah, that's a great idea. And I would love to do that. and and yes, there we go from David Moore. And he and I are working on the business show. He's ready to go. I will say, I have to get my button to gear showcase, and there you go. We have another one showcase. Yes, and we do. We actually do we do some more of the show. We do connecting on the pagan books. Common single denominator of all pagan groups is the library. We are big believers in libraries. Phaedra Bonowitz, the great lady Phaedra Bonowitz said it best. We don't have sacred books. We have sacred libraries. And I think that's another great way to connect. And so, yeah, I think more and more we need to see these energetic moments occur. And so I love what we do. We do what we love. And if we connect from this place, the heart to heart and in the mind, the rest is transforming and creating a pagan world. And that's what I'm committed to, creating a pagan world. Yes, the library. Yes, I know. We're to get there. Big, big, big. Yeah. So yeah, there we go. Talk to us. So if you want to send any messages, Pagan World TV, but join Pagan World. Come on, join it. Right now, we're right about to hit 1,000, and we're gonna once it gets going, it'll be 100,000 things like be a part of the first, be a founding group, take a chance, leap here, and just become part of the system. And there we go. So yeah, you're right. Why everybody's coming now with all these great suggestions. So I don't want to. I never, and I don't have to. This is the nice thing about what we do. She's talking about also paying artists and crafters. So what I need is hosts pro, and runners, meaning somebody to help us get the show put together, and we can teach you that, and then people to actually host the show. What I mean by runners, people to help us get the shows put together, get work with the hosts, get their guests together. We have the time. We have an unlimited amount of time. This is the time to get into leverage. Okay, this is where connecting pagans is super important. You have never had a better opportunity. I need hosts. I can put hosts on all day long and all of it. If you're in Africa, if you're in Philippines, if you're any of those, I'm going to show this as being a producer. There you go. I'll show. I guess so. Okay, so there you go. I get so excited, I forget what all the different pieces are. Yeah, we just have to get more of that going, and that's the little change. We're at the bottom of the hill, beginning our turn up. Once we get to the top of that hill, we're going to come. It's just going to be amazing fun. Um, yeah, We need producers. Yeah, people schedule guests, a whole 9 yards. And so that's what we need, connecting pagans. So we can produce more content if we can connect more pagans who wanted to help out with this project. PaganWorldTV at gmail.com. Join pagan.world. Join us every night on the Daily Spell. All right. So Thursday is Tarot Thursday. We're going to have a great with Reverend Mary. So we got that. So tomorrow at 1 p.m. Let me go ahead and do this. Connecting Pagans. Don Lewis is going, instead of doing evenings that he so fondly, he's going to get back on the air tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern Time, 7 o'clock Central European Standard Time, and 10 a.m. Mountain Time. And it'll be, unfortunately for the Philippines, it'll be 1 a.m. in the morning. But there you go. We're going to have the show. And so Reverend Don Lewis is going to have his midday show, a mixture of talk, chat, and tarot. I'm so looking forward to it. Well, folks, I'm going to do this. This is going to be a short one. I thank everybody for listening. And with that, we're going to look forward till tomorrow and make it a great day. Blessed be.